What's up everyone, today I'll be doing a YouTube boxing tier list. So this is as of January 2023, so this is just after Misfits 4. So I'm going to base everyone's placements based on their most recent fights. Okay, so starting with Anisom Gibb. Where should Anisom Gibb land? I think he should be in a title champ. This is just because I think most people in his weight category, which I think is light heavyweight, I think he generally would be. You know, there's some tough fights there with Salt Papi or Slim, but I think overall, Gibb is one of the better fighters. For me, he's the top five. He is a top 5 fighter, so I think he deserves to be in title champ. Anderson Silva, you can't deny his record. You can't deny his background. He is a good fighter. He's an okay boxer. You know, he's had a couple wins, and he'd obviously lost to Jake. But for me, I don't see him fighting anyone else in this scene. So I'm gonna leave him at decent because he is decent. He's obviously really good, but I don't see him fighting anyone else. Ben Askren, God, no, I'm joking, he should retire, and hopefully he has. He was in it for the payday, wasn't he? Like, he just was. He put up a very lackluster performance, and to me, he shouldn't have been in that position. But obviously Jake chose him for that reason, because he knew it was gonna be an easy fight. But yeah, retire. Austin McBroom. So I'm going to put him in title contender. I personally really like Austin McBroom as a fighter. Let me clarify, as a fighter. As a person, as a fighter, I think he's really good. I think he's really naturally gifted. You know, you saw how well he did against Bryce Hall, and he even knocked down Gibb in the first round. He is a good boxer, but I think he lacked experience going into the Gibb fight. He lacked composure. You know, as soon as he knocked down Gibb, he was just front foot, and then obviously got knocked down, what, 6-7 times? You shouldn't take that away from him. I still think he's a really good boxer, and I think if he was in the scene, I know he said he wasn't planning to box again, but if he does, I think he could be a contender. So I think his name's Josh Buckingham. I think he was the one who fought Ice Poseidon and lamped him in the first round. He's a good fighter. He is good, you know, but Ice Poseidon wasn't a tough opponent. He didn't put up much, and yeah, Josh, he put up a good performance. So I'd like to see him fight again. So I'm gonna put him in decent. Josh Bruckner, the boogeyman. Well, he was the boogeyman until Salt Papi put him down. You know, if it was a month ago, champ, I would have put him. Oh yeah, easy champ. Well, I say that I didn't really rate him against Chase. I mean, Chase was not a good fighter, but I didn't rate Josh that much. But he won. So, and he did have the heavyweight title for the ICB, not that means anything nowadays, but he did have the title for the ICB, so I would have put him in champ. But contender, I guess, if he sits in that cruiserweight division, I guess he would be a contender, because I'm trying to think who else would fight in the cruiserweight. You know, if he went up against a FaZe Temple or a King Kenny, that would be a good fight, so I still think definitely he's a contender. Okay, next, I think this is DDG who fought Halal Ham on Misfits 2 or 3. Some people say he won the fight against Halal Ham, so because of that, I'm not going to put him in. Oh no, I'm going to put him in there. If he lost to Halal Ham, you know, I don't think he's got a future in this. I haven't heard much from him since, so yeah, I think he had an okay performance, but he's in there. So Deji's next. Deji's a bit of a complicated one because he is good. He demolished Fuzi, then went on to fight Floyd. But I think if you take away the fact that it was his first win, and you know you compare Fuzi's ability to some of the other people in his weight category, you know, you think of King Kenny, FaZe Temper, people like that. He is good because he beat Fuzi. You know, his counter punching skills and his shot selection is really good, but if he went up against one of the higher level fighters, Gibb, Salt Papi, King Kenny, I don't see him winning that fight. If I'm purposely honest, if I'm honest, it's difficult. I like Deji. He's a good fighter, but I still think he's not a title contender. I definitely don't think he's a champ. So for me, he's gonna sit at decent for now. You know, maybe in his next fight, if he ramps up the opponents, he might then be able to take a contender position. But at the moment, he's going to set decent. Also, I think I'm going to split this video into 2 parts. I'm going to have one part just filling out where everyone is on the tier list, but then I'm gonna have a second part where I order them. So, for example, I think Deji's better than Josh, and Anderson Silva's better than Deji. So, but I'm gonna do that in another video. So subscribe if you want to see that. So DK Money, he's your standard typical journeyman. He's there. He's an okay opponent. You know, he'll probably have fights in between bigger names where, you know, he bolsters his record. But I don't see him doing anything but being a journeyman. I just think he's just going to be there for, you know, if someone needs a warm-up fight, or, you know, they need another fight of the night, they're going to put him in there. So I'm going to put him in meh. iDubbbz, again, he's a tricky one where, you know, he's new to the sport, but he showed a lot of technical skills going up against Dr. Mike, but Dr. Mike was a bigger opponent, heavier opponent with more experience, so he lost that. I'm going to drop him in decent, if I'm perfectly honest, because I think he does have the ability to fight. I think he will and can win some fights, but he's going up against Alex Wasabi, and I guess, depending on the outcome of that fight, will be where he gets ranked. If he beats Wasabi, you know, he might bump up to the top of decent or even a title contender, but if he loses, he's going to stay in decent or drop down to meh. So Floyd Mayweather, should he be on this list? Because he's not really an influencer boxer. At this point, he's just fighting anyone that will give him a good payday. So, for me, if you asked me Floyd Mayweather 5 years ago, God tier. Of course he is. He has the record, he has the experience, undefeated. But the fact now he's just fighting random people, like he's fighting some random reality star next month, I couldn't care less. So at this point, honestly, very controversial, he should just retire, man. Like, he's just doing it for the money, he's not doing it for the love of the sport. I think you should hang up the gloves, personally. Fuzi. Yeah, I don't think I need to explain what I've put him here. He's not the best, really. He's not the best. He obviously lost Deji. He lost to Slim, and now he's lost he lost Happy Punch. So yeah, let's leave him there. So Ice Poseidon, meh. Yeah, he's one of those people. He came in, he talked so much. He came in with that hood on and kind of trying to make himself, you know, be the bigger man, and he got embarrassed. So yeah, he's meh. Vinny Hacker, he is decent. You know, he was able to withstand the shots of Deji, and we know Deji has a good amount of power, so he was able to withstand that and then beat Deji. Yes, it wasn't the Deji nowadays, but that is a rematch. These two, that's a rematch I would like to see in the future. But for now, he's decent. I don't think he would be a title contender. He'd beat everyone in the meh category, so he's decent. Hasim Rahman. He's obviously he's a good fighter. You know, he's got a good professional record. He's lost his last 2 fights. He lost his last professional fight and then lost to Greg Hardy. But you saw so much heart in that fight, man. That was such a difficult fight, considering how much heavier Greg Hardy was. And he was just putting his absolute everything into his shots, and Greg was just eating them. So I think he's a title champ for the sole reason that if Mams is really doing this pro division of misfits, if he can drop down to that cruiserweight rather than being in that heavyweight, because if he's in heavyweight, Greg will beat him every time. If he can drop down to cruiserweight, I think he would win in that and hold the belt in that category. So yeah, he's a title champ in my opinion. Evil Hero. He looked okay. He looked okay against Dean. Obviously, Dean's the champ. Dean knocked him out, but he's okay. I feel like if in that lighter category, you know, you got him, you know, Waleed, I guess NNA, the other guys, I think he's one of the better ones, so I'm going to put him in decent, but I think I haven't seen enough from him to give him any reason to contend for the title again against Dean, so I'm gonna drop him into decent. Taylor Holder, I would like to see him fight again. I would. He was an okay fighter. Gibb obviously tore him apart piece by piece, but he didn't knock him out. And, you know, apparently he has all those street fights or whatever. So this is hard because he's decent because he lasted against Gibb, and I think he would beat many people, but also he talked so much and then didn't really do anything to Gibb to show that he was a high level boxer. I'm going to put him in there for now.